That's good. Thank you.
I will call the July 16th meeting of the Irmo Town Council to order. And if Ms. Condon will lead us, I'll recognize. We've been pledged allegiance and the
Pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Dear Lord, please bless us in our endeavors tonight. Bless our town. Give us the wisdom and knowledge to handle things as you would like us to do. Show those who are less fortunate your mercy. Take care of our armed forces overseas. And as always, give us your guidance and blessings for the future. We ask this in your name. Amen.
Amen.
Next item on the agenda is the reading of the minutes from June 18th, 2013. Is there a motion for approval of the June 18th meeting?
I so move.
And is there a second?
Second.
And is there any discussion?
They were kind of short and sweet.
All in favor of the minutes as written, do so with show of hands. And the next item is the June 27th minutes of that meeting. Is there a motion for approval of that meeting?
Oh, I so move on that one. That really is the one that's short and sweet.
Yeah.
The other one.
That's shorter and sweeter.
Yeah.
And is there a second?
Second.
And any discussion? Being none, all in favor of approval of those minutes as written, do so with show of hands. The next item is the administrative briefing. Mr. Bradley, if you would like to add.
Yes, so just two things. Saturday, this week is Fresh Market again, from 9 to 12. And also next week is the final week of our current schedule for garbage pickup in town. We're going to pick up Monday through Friday, like they've been doing. Then the following week on July the 31st, they'll just pick up the one day, Wednesday. And the following week after that, on August 7th, they'll pick up both recycling and all the other stuff. Recycling will still be every 2 weeks.
So it'll be the first week of August, recycling?
For the recycling.
Okay.
Recycling next week.
But it will be on Wednesday as well.
Correct. Wednesday for everything.
And I saw that you had sent out something on the, I guess it was listserv.
I'm going to send it out every other day, probably, just to make sure the word gets out.
Advance sent out anything yet? I haven't seen anything from you.
They said the end of this week and all next week.
My garbage was picked up yesterday, and they taped a big sign on the trash can announcing it.
Okay. I hadn't heard yet. I just knew it was going to be the end of
Big yellow, possibly big, 8.5 by 11 type.
That's good. That's all I have.
The only thing I wanted to ask, I noticed under your administrative briefing, under the current sidewalk grants, that it looks like, if I'm guessing, that all the ones that were bid out came in more than what was anticipated.
Correct.
So they're all underfunded.
Correct.
Does that mean they go out and bid them again, or they come back to us and say, here's how much?
Well, they're
they
trying
need?
to find the money now, so they have not officially asked us for more funds.
But as soon as they find their money, then they'll ask us for whatever
Correct.
the difference is in the 20% of the other price and the 20% of the new.
Right.
So I guess they're all just on hold until they...
They are, except for the one that they're rebidding. I don't have it in...
College and Eastview.
College and Eastview. They're rebidding that because they had some problems with the bids, and they did not elaborate when I asked them about what that was all about. So when that gets rebid, that project should get moving forward, because we know the price is okay on that.
And then the two other ones, Chillingham and Childs, that are just approved, that means just approved for bidding and all that, but not approved for...
No, it just got approved for, the contracts are still coming.
Okay.
So what's going to happen, in about 3 months, we'll get a contract from them, say, hey, you still want to do this, and here's your match. It's going to be 20%, cut us a check. And then after that, they'll start designing it, they'll get the engineers to do all the engineering and survey work. So it's going to be late next year before those two projects even get bid out.
Any other questions of Mr. Brown?
Well, sort of related to the brief, when is the grand opening of our hotel?
They have not set a date. I mean, they're open,
They're open, I know.
but they haven't set a date yet.
Will you let us know?
You'll be on the top of the list.
And sometimes they do that when they join the chamber, and the chamber does it. I
Yeah,
don't
the chamber, I hope that's when they do it, because
I don't know if they're
that's a
waiting.
big event for us.
Oh, for sure.
Any other questions? If not, next item is presentation by citizens for agenda items only. This is the time for any citizen who wants to speak with us about anything on the agenda tonight can do so at this time. All we ask is you give us your name and address for the record, and then also what agenda item you would like to speak to. Anyone who would like to address us? Unless it's Mr. Elsley, I don't see anybody else here. Next item is unfinished business. Item A, second reading, ordinance 1307, to annex property located at Richland County, tax map 32,001 Salem Church Road, which is the property for the Rose Oak subdivision. Is there a motion for second reading?
So moved.
And is there a second?
Second?
Any discussion? And just for the record, this is the land that's behind Rose Oak that actually has a entry point on Salem Church Road that the owner has requested to be annexed into town so he can do his next phase of that subdivision. All in favor of that approval, do so with show of hands. Next item is second reading of ordinance 1308 to annex property located at Richland County Tax Map 2500-0721 on Bickley Road, owned by Miss Maureen Cochran. Is there a motion for second reading of that annexation?
So moved.
And is there a second?
I'll second.
Any discussion?
Yes, where exactly is this?
It's right next to Mr. Bickley. Look at the other map I gave you.
Yeah.
Mr. Bickley is blue and hers is the one with the tax map number right next to it.
If you go up and turn on that road and
And-
past those apartments,
Yeah.
there's a little place called Contract Construction.
Yeah,
Sunset,
yeah.
And then there's a boat dealership or a
Yeah.
boat repair shop.
And that's her.
And then it's the
Right
next
on the other
land,
side.
yeah, next land right in there.
And she just asked to be annexed. Okay.
She had, back years ago when we looked at doing those apartments and the plex and
Yes,
the
sir.
whole shebang, she was kind of in that thing at that time. I think,
Like stuck in there.
Yeah.
knows her and all that. And I think she'd wanted to come in before. In fact, the guy that ended up buying some of that land up there somewhere to do that boat place wanted to come in, and that's kind of what, but then we didn't annex that, but I think she's, I guess, out of the blue wants to bring it in, or maybe she knows somebody wants it, I don't know. But I think, now is she the one that wanted general commercial?
Yes,
Yeah, she
yes,
did,
she
yeah.
is.
Is there any reason why we shouldn't annex her?
The only thing, and I'll say this while we're talking about the annexation, because we have this other one on there tonight too from the other guy down the street. In my mind, I mean, once we cross that road on that side of the street, if we were just doing her property, it's not as advisable, because you're skipping everything and then you got one property and nothing. He wants to come in now, so it makes it a little bit more. But I did call the Plex the other day and talk to them just to see if they were still any interest in still coming into town. There is. It's not as pressing as it was before when they were trying to do some work up there and it took Richland County to do anything, and they were getting frustrated, but they finally got everything worked out and done. I did call the owners of the property that own the apartment complex to talk to them as well, just to kind of see, would y'all be interested? And surprisingly, they would. They wanted to know more stuff and would have to get more information and yada yada. And neither one of them promised they would, but they were both at least agreeable to say, yeah, if y'all do want to annex the other property, then yeah, we would talk about it too. The only thing I would suggest, and even if we defer this one and do the other one and defer them both for a while, is to send out a petition and see. Because I think it'd make more sense if we did everything at one time. The only negative to doing everything The Plex, I think, is probably in that little boat place and that contract. And I haven't talked to them. They may not want to. I don't know. But the apartment is an apartment complex, and there's a large amount of people there. And
Where's the apartment complex compared to on here?
this big old tract of land right here, that
Right here?
circle is SENG. They own that
Okay.
little place, and they got a little backup in case there's
The apartment, yeah, and
a nuclear
it's
meltdown
Plex.
at Jenkins, and they work out of there instead. A little backup office, and that's basically what it's for,
Okay.
to have a backup in case that one
These
gets
two is a
destroyed.
boat place, the small
what do you
one, they
think?
go into contract.
So to me, if we were going to do
At the
it,
same time, yes.
do a petition, do it all.
I mean, you got more cops gotta be up there.
Yeah.
I mean,
But the only thing both of them did tell me is, especially the guy at the Plex, he wanted to know, well, if I sign it and anybody else does, they're going to vote for it. I said, well, I don't know. So that'd be the thing we'd have to kind of know is if we will, then.
Well, if we
can
had
move
all
forward.
of those in a row, that would make sense. Wouldn't it? To me.
yeah, but that apartment complex is gonna tax the hell out of them.
Yeah, it's going to be it's a nicer apartment complex, but it's still a lot of people. It's still, I don't know how many units in there, but there's a bunch.
But we don't get anything out of that either.
Just a business license, and I don't know how to do
Not
that.
on the apartment complex.
Yeah, because they pay rent, so they'd be getting revenue in, they'd have to pay on it, but I don't know.
Yeah, you would get a business license.
Yeah, management
Property
company.
management company.
Yeah,
Well, maybe,
and then you'd have a boat dealership there, and then a construction company there, and the Plex back there. But instead of voting for this one and vote for that one separately, I'd say try to do it all at one time, but I mean, you could do second reading if council wanted to, and then defer it until we found out how everything else is going to do, and then if they sign a petition, vote on it. If they don't, then decide individually, yea or nay.
that might be
I kinda like to defer it
to vote once and then defer.
Right.
Okay.
Well, we got, we already
Reason
voted
why
once on
is-
this one, right? So we just on second reading.
Yeah.
And you can still take second reading and then just
And then
defer
defer
after
it.
that.
Or it's
And
whatever.
then the other one, we could vote it and send it to planning and see what they say.
Already sent it to the planning commission.
Oh, that's right, okay. And okay.
They had no problem with it because he was asking for FA.
Yeah, yeah. And
Yeah.
then we could just give first reading to that and defer that one as well. And then we could send out the paperwork and see what these other people, because the guy from the apartment said he'd come to
I mean,
our town the next time he's in town and talk to us and find
I
out.
want y'all to keep this in mind. What's happening in Columbia is that Gonzales Gardens, all those places are getting torn down. All those people are getting relocated to guess where? Irmo,
Columbiana.
Columbiana, outskirts of Columbia.
Yeah, in the Harbison area there.
With this apartment complex, it's not out of the realm or not out of reach, they can go that far if they need to. Keep that in mind as we go in annexing in a big place like that. That we may
Yeah.
tax our police department more than they already are already.
And this one is a marketplace, whatever you call that, marketplace rent.
Yeah.
So they're probably out of the rent range of Section 8 housing, but that doesn't
Yeah, that doesn't
mean
mean
20
it
years
won't
down the road.
change.
you won't.
Yeah, that's right.
We don't ever know.
Yeah, I know people that actually
Economics,
rent there, and it's expensive.
yeah, but economics will dictate if they get in hard times and they'll make about.
They'll take that certificate
Exactly.
real quick.
So I just want y'all to keep that in mind before we decide to pull in these big corporate complexes.
Okay. All right.
So any more discussion? Any questions? So we'll vote on, let's see, which one am I on?
1308,
Yeah, 1308. We can vote for second reading, or we can just vote to defer it, either one. We can do second reading and then defer it as well.
What do y'all want?
Because we got a motion for second reading right now.
we can give it a second reading and then defer it.
Okay.
And let me see. If we need to, well, we vote for second reading, then
Actually,
we
you just wait, you
defer.
could wait to put it on the agenda when you all want to bring it back on the agenda.
Okay.
So we'll need a motion to defer then. Is that correct?
I mean, there's no date that we set now unless you want to, we'll just find
Yeah,
out
you could-
what the
you
other
can,
properties want to do,
Have a motion to defer it until we
research the other properties.
find out from these other properties and do a petition for,
Okay.
75% petition for, say, everything from the Plex down to 1309 down there, Bickley, Gilbert, whatever.
You're probably not going to
1,
get
2, 3, 4, 5,
Mr.
6,
Bixley, he had a
7.
problem with doing a petition last time.
Yeah, he may.
That man is a thorn
I'm
in my
not sure we can
side.
include him, we have to just go.
Yeah, we may just leave him off and do these other ones.
Now, remember, you do a
No,
75%
not all,
petition.
not, no.
I think
This is
the
a
department's owned by a
lives out on
board or
election
some kind of
highway.
corporation,
Yeah, there's different owners. He said he had partners
so we
in
have
it.
to get a hold of more than one signature.
Yeah, well, I think on a petition, whoever's assigned, who's ever approved by the board or corporation can sign. So it'd still be just, say, one signature. Because I'm sure they probably got someone who is approved for them to sign, kind of like a board of directors or
They still have to
like a
vote.
school board, whatever.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And today is what, 16th? If we do it,
Plex.
we'll defer it until, what's August, September, the first meeting in September. That ought to give us, okay,
Actually,
the
the first
second.
meeting in September will be the 17th.
Right.
Because we're
That ought to give us
Labor
enough
Day,
time
right?
to get a petition,
Yeah,
at
we're
least
not
start and
having
find out, and then if nobody says whatever, then we can just put them back on and put them up or down.
Okay.
So is there a motion to defer second reading until September the 17th? And we will try to, in the meantime, get a petition done for everything basically on that corner that's in white, and maybe Mr. Bickley too.
We need a motion to amend the
Yeah,
motion,
yeah, we need a motion to
Defer.
amend.
or else you can vote for second reading and vote to defer it to third.
Okay, I make a motion to defer it. Or Harlan
And I
can make it.
You make the motion.
Or you can if you want to.
You want to withdraw your motion for second reading?
Yeah,
Yes.
And I'll withdraw my second.
okay.
Now, I'll make a motion that we defer it until September, was it 17th?
17th. And I'll second it.
Right, pending increased petitions. That's why we were deferring it.
So all in favor of the deferral until September 17th, do so with show of hands. And then the next item is the first reading of ordinance 1309 to annex property located at Richland County, tax map 250722. And this one, we could do a first reading,
And defer it.
and then, well, just do a first reading, and then
Bring it back.
bring it back and then defer, and then be tied with each other, and then
Okay.
next time we bring them up, they'll be together.
We may never get this man's signature on anything again, so we probably ought to do it just in case.
You might die,
Huh?
you might die.
He might die, he might have children worse than he is. But,
So is there a motion for first reading on 1309?
so moved.
And a second.
I'll second.
Yeah, and for instance, this same gentleman, when we were trying to do that up there years ago, and I spoke to him, I don't know how many times, and I think we did leave him off that petition because he couldn't decide one way or the other. And I think at that time, his words were, I'd rather be annexed into Valentine than they be incorporated, and all
No,
that.
he's
And that
not
never happened, so.
overly, not overly friendly to us. I made several trips. He still didn't do what I asked him to do.
And I think from what I understand from Bob, the same thing is the same thing it was years ago. Was his taxes going to go up if he
That's right,
got general commercial?
that's right.
I don't know how many times I told him no.
And
but-
the thing, I said, don't you care about your neighbors? No, not at all. Well, we know what you are.
So, any more discussion on that one? All in favor of first reading on ordinance 1309, which, by the way, he does want friend agriculture, so they'll be coming in as friend agriculture.
All right, I'm gonna shoot my gun.
Yeah.
Did you go
At
get
the
a warrant,
goats.
guys?
All in favor of that, do so with show of hands. Next item is approval of contract with Air Force Excavating in the amount of $9,000 to bore fiber optic conduit from Town Hall to the Police Department. Is there a motion for approval?
So moved.
In a second.
Second.
Any discussion?
All right, why do we need to spend 10 grand to drill a hole from City Hall to the police department?
This is part of a long-range plan that the chief and I are working on to upgrade all of our wireless communications from police cars to the police station to the town hall, clerk of court, because our goal is sometime next year in the next budget to purchase iPads for all the police officers, which will make their ticket writing go a lot faster than it is right now.
There's a problem with the police cars internet thing, right?
The iPads.
Oh, well, okay.
Because
Okay.
right now they're working on a, what's their speed now? It's like real slow, their wireless speed.
At the police department, our internet is an ISDN line, which is like 56K, which I don't even think y'all have at your houses.
That's slow.
Dial up.
Yes.
So this is we want to go fiber optic, but the first step is the most expensive, and that's boring under the road through all the rock and clay to get from this building to the police department.
What about aerial?
You don't want to go in the air, do we?
You say you go from this building, you don't go from that one?
We already got fiber from that building.
That
Okay.
fire comes up in the closet back here, doesn't it?
Yes.
Thought so.
So we got 3 other prices. I mean, these guys, we had 15,000, 12,000. This is the cheapest at 9,000.
To drill a hole.
It's a big boring machine.
Why can't you just drill a hole?
That's what it's gonna do.
I mean, why can't you just trench a hole, but that way?
Yeah.
We needed to make sure the fiber is.
It would
deep.
cost
And
more
You got to go
to-
into concrete, the road itself. You don't want to cut through
Trench?
Columbia Avenue.
To trench?
It costs more to trench it and then have to fix the road back where we cut through the asphalt than it does to go under it.
They go down about 10 feet. I mean, they go way deep underneath all kinds of gas lines, water lines. They won't go into the sewer line because that's a real.
Taylor, give me $5,000 and I'll drill you a hole. Nah, I don't care. It just seems a little bit much to be drilling a hole
Oh, it's
from
for,
here over there for $9,000. Now, again, I don't know. I don't do them on a regular basis. But
Chief
Now,
has
do
done
they
a lot
put the
of
fiber in too, or they just drill the hole?
That's just the hole.
that's what I'm saying.
Oh,
Just
with the conduit.
Yeah.
Fiber optics
a
cheap.
pipe.
And give the chief a lot of credit. Did a lot of legwork on this. I mean, this is.
What you guys doing on the weekends? He can't with a big auger and underneath the sidewalk.
The guys are out catching bad guys, and I
Oh,
don't think the town is trying to use inmate labor to drill a big hole in the ground.
So any more discussion?
Is this gonna be obsolete in 2 years or what?
Not for fiber optic, it shouldn't be.
Okay,
No.
5 years.
5 years.
Well, at least if they got the hole, they could always put something else in there too, I guess, too, if it did get
Yeah.
slow. They could jerk it out and put a bigger one. Of course, if it's fiber optic, you just put bigger equipment in there. That's what you do.
Yeah.
Okay, just so, I know this is gonna sound
Yes.
stupid. This is not the United States Air Force.
That's correct.
It
That's
is
just-
not.
No,
It's a company named
correct.
Air Force.
It's a local company that got a big boring machine that costs like $100,000. That's,
The Air Force does not know they're using their name. Okay, got it.
So, all in favor of approval of the contract for Air Force Excavating in the amount of $9,000, do so with show of hands.
We got it, okay.
And next item is an approval for a change order with Clearwater Construction for $63,900 to build a picnic shelter in the new town park. Is there approval for the change order?
So moved.
And a second?
Second.
But I think there's an error.
Okay.
The 63.9 is not what was on the original bid. When we broke that out,
It didn't have any profit.
beg pardon?
There was no profit on that number. On the deduct.
Oh, you're talking about for the other company bid?
Well, on
Their add-on,
Ellis's
the
bid.
original bid was only 62,000.
Oh, see, so it's 13.9, or 3. It was, the other one was 62?
62 is his original,
Oh, okay.
the add-on for the contract to do the picnic
So
shelter.
it's $1,900
Roughly.
difference. Okay. Okay, I was thinking it was a lot more. Okay.
This is the breakdown in the briefing, right? The administrator's briefing?
Yes, I'm sorry.
45 for material,
Yep.
11 for the slab, 3 for the labor cost, 4,900 contractor fee.
Okay. I was thinking it was considerably less than that.
Now, we had prices from 52 up to 94, I think,
Okay.
building the picnic shelter.
Right.
Big range.
Okay.
It should have been more.
Or less. Okay.
Any other discussion?
Yes. Where do we stand with this, with the original stuff that we're doing now?
Well, we basically lost.
Come up here, I can't hear you.
We basically lost 4 weeks of rain. If we have good weather, I think we can meet our August 31st deadline. But I think it would be a travesty if we tried to have the overstrut there and you have vendors going off the paved road and sinking in the mud. I just don't think that with all the rain we've had, it is going to dry out in time to have a overstrut we can be proud of. Because I think if you ever, people are going to walk on that, I think on the side where we cut, which is the Eastview side, we cut that and moved that dirt up the hill on the Church Street side. The Church Street side is not going to settle for quite a while off the road. We're going to shoot for August 31st. I met with the writer this afternoon. He said in his 28 years he's never seen this much rain since he's been in business. I think we could have it ready, but I think if you have it ready, it's going to be the wrong place to have the overstrut.
It's gonna be a mud pit back there. It's gonna be a mud pit back there.
Well, not so much matriculating down the trails and matriculating down the roads, but if you matriculate off of them, you're going to have people bogged down, having to get towed out. And I just think it would be a mistake. In my opinion, that's kind of.
How long does it take to settle?
It would probably take 4 or 5 weeks if we ever had continuous sun. But we're also in a shady area there, where when we do get sun, it's on the side that we don't need it.
Yeah.
So it's kind of a catch-22.
I understand.
I wasn't really prepared to talk about this, but that's kind of my gut feeling on where we are and what would happen if we did go ahead and try to push it. When we push it, we're not going to do as good a job as if we do it right and make sure we got compaction. We can't compact red, salt, and mud. So that's kind of where we are.
The
We
trails,
got 4 inches of rain since Sunday, so it's
If we wanted to, though, we could walk the trails in September and be
Yeah,
okay.
I think everything will be finished. I just don't think that you want that many people stomping on the soggy piece of ground.
I understand.
Well, what about the schedule we got for as the actual working itself?
We'll, as far as tomorrow, we will revise our schedule, and we will shoot for August 31st to finish.
Yeah, that's fine.
But we have lost 4 weeks of work.
Is there any way that we can, how should we put it? Not necessarily have the orchestra out there, but have the park open?
Oh, I think we could shoot to have it open. I just don't know that well, number one, I don't know if we can meet our schedule if it continues to run.
Right.
And number two, if we do meet our schedule and we can open the park, we can get our CO and people can use the playground. But I think with allowing people to drive in there, you maybe would be better off to cordon it off. You know, let foot traffic in there for a while.
You're gonna tear it up.
We'll tear it up.
It's not gonna quit raining. Not a quarter.
No, it's, you know, you look at one channel, it's not gonna rain all week.
Right.
If you look at the other one, it's got
Every afternoon.
coming out every
Yeah.
day.
If you look at the sky, there's a bunch of stuff falling out.
Yeah.
Believe me, I never anticipated us having a monsoon season in Irmo, South Carolina.
No.
When I gave you that ambitious schedule
Yeah.
to be done by August, you know, I never thought it.
Well, it was a reasonable schedule. I really was.
You know, I never thought that. But at the same time, you know, we got things going on with this new park where people are looking at, you know, we're spending $1 million on this thing. What are we gonna get for that? What's gonna happen with that? You know what I mean?
You're gonna get everything you work on, it just might take a little longer
Yeah.
than we wanted it to.
In October.
I mean, if you've been out the last couple of days, I mean, we got people knocking it out. I mean, they'll work till like 12:45 and then a damn big old
Belly wash.
bunch of rain comes, and they can't hardly get out of there.
Yeah.
I mean, it rains so fast, so hard, that the trucks have a hard time getting out of there when they rain. So, about the minute.
It is soggy down there.
Don't shoot unless it's driving.
Yeah, I was delivering furniture the other day and I stepped off people's sidewalk with a chest of drawers and I sunk. Sunk up to my ankles. It's just like squish. It's wet.
So it's not to say that we still can't have a big grand opening, it's just maybe a few weeks after the orchestra. Have a big ceremony or something, of some kind.
We could certainly have a
Ribbon cutting.
So, any other questions on the, well, we were talking about the shelter, picnic shelter.
I have been working on securing some money for us to get a sizable amount of that picnic shelter paid for. And I would like to defer this until I had an opportunity to get a yes or no answer from the person or organization I would be negotiating with.
That was item F that you wanted.
No, this is a different organization. That's another organization.
So do you want to, you got a motion right now for approval, do you want to amend it or to defer? You can make a motion to defer.
Well,
Or
Well, I mean, only reason why is because I think I can get a sizable chunk of money to pay for it, which then I don't.
would just go back into the fund, and we could be moving forward with that while they are working.
Oh, I got you. Just
You know, just go back into the fund. It's not like a grant. I know what you're working on.
Yeah.
It's not like a grant that says that you can't
You can't do nothing
use
else with
it unless you start a project with it, you know.
Oh, okay. Okay. If you don't
And if we
think-
give him more time, he's gonna go up again. That's
Yeah,
the
that's
problem.
true, too.
He's already back there calculating.
No, but I still want to mess up that opportunity
Right.
that we might have. The aside with choking money for this if we do it now, so. I mean, if you want,
Understand.
if you don't think it'll mess it up, then.
I don't think so.
I don't think so.
Okay. And the only thing I wanted to ask from Bob, you can kind of explain that just for the record. But I know at one time we had talked about possibly getting the grant for this, but I think you said Nathan Valentine had mentioned that, or whatever.
I've got email from both Nathan and Chip,
Yeah.
and they're saying that they can't get any money now. We have to wait till the normal window opens, which is Parks and Recreation grants. They have different grants. But the windows don't open before January or February. And he thought with the grant he was looking at, which was PRT, not the PARD, that we probably wouldn't get more than $20,000. But then we could not start the picnic. We would have to wait, apply for the grant in February, hope we got approved, get the money probably around June timeframe, and then build the picnic shelter, if we waited that long. And the issue here was, did we want to come back in and build something after the park was completed, or do it in the process now? And not to say that we still can't get Nathan or Jake or somebody to try to get some money and just give it to us later on.
Nathan and Chip both basically said that they would give us all the money we needed for the park.
Well, they've been working, but they haven't been producing.
They've been working but haven't been producing. That's a very true statement. I haven't seen any of that money they said they would get. So, we're still in the park.
But you said
It would
it
be
was
nice to see.
coming through PRT and not,
There's the difference. The PARD is got two big grants, but they're mostly for big pre-construction on brand new parks. PRT offers different ones for like trails and picnic shelters, small grants. And these aren't matching. These are just 100% grants. But that's why they're such small amounts.
okay. Any other questions, comments, discussion? All in favor of the approval for change order with Clearwater Construction for $63,900 to do the picnic shelter, and I'm guessing they would just add it into their list of things to do and get to it when the timing's good, so to speak. Not a certain date, or they don't have to finish the park first and then do this. They can do it all when they're in there doing whatever. And it just works out good.
I'm sure he'd be pouring the slab when he's pouring concrete for other things. Okay.
All in favor, do so with show of hands. Next item is approval for a contract with CBD Inc. in the amount of $14,700 for sidewalk repairs on St. Andrews, Woodrow Street, and Thames Valley. And this is for existing sidewalks in town that we're just repairing.
Correct.
Is there a motion for approval?
So moved.
And is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion? Now, are these just, I want to say, cracked from old age, or these where big trucks drive over them and people, whatever, or?
All the above. I mean, this is the
Just
corner of
anything
Thames
there.
Valley and St. Andrews. It's all tore up where the State Farm used to be, right there on that corner. Well, where it is State Farm, but
Oh, okay.
that corner of the sidewalk goes around on Thames
Yeah,
Valley.
people
and
always
St.
turning,
Andrews.
yeah.
And then the sidewalk in front of Domino's and that little shopping strip right there. Just all tore up. It's, yeah, trucks been driving over it.
Can we put steel spikes there to limit the number of
Sharp
times
steel bungee cord.
that a truck can go around that corner? Yes.
But remember, this is money that we spend up front, and Lexington County's already
Already
approved
gave it.
$15,000.
Now, do they do that at a, I want to say, thicker concrete? Can't they, I know sometimes they'll do them, I want to say 12 inches, but they do them thicker than a normal if they're in an intersection.
Yeah, we can make them go 6 inches, which is normally it's 4 for pedestrian, 6 for driveways and things like that.
They might want to do, yeah, those thicker just on the
Gonna cost
corner.
more.
Yeah, but at least they might not, since they break as often.
I can ask.
Bob, on Irmo Drive, there's a sidewalk that's been under construction or repair for quite some time. Well, who's doing that repair?
That,
It's right between the apartments and the architectural firm.
Well, if you remember, that got tore up by the City of Columbia Water Department. They had the busted water main in there, and they went in to fix it, and, well, I guess they fixed the leak, but then they're gonna come back and fix the sidewalk. That's their job.
When?
They don't work fast. We've had typical cases around town where it's taken them as much as a year to come back and fix sidewalk after they fix the water problem. Takes them a long time.
We can't expedite that?
Sure. You know somebody over there?
No, I don't. Barry does.
Run it through the police department.
Barry's in good with city manager, aren't you, Barry?
Yeah.
You bought that sidewalk.
Fixing the building.
Remind me where that thing, if Benjamin's there, I'm talking to him, and Sam Johnson.
But no, I have nobody, I have no strings I can pull with the City of Columbia Water. It's just, they're hard to deal with.
Okay.
And they do it their own
And
time.
they may wait, I would say 3 months or something to make sure they won't bust again or some time frame.
That's true.
I know they
Then
just
after
did
that, then they schedule it. I don't know, they might have some kind of,
We had it at Quail Valley and Pebblegate. We had a busted main, and they temporarily fixed it, which wasn't worth the darn. Then they came back and halfway fixed it, and that was some better, but was still a 6-inch hole. And finally, I think it's been 6 months, it's now fixed. So you don't lose your car when you make the left-hand turn, but it's taken a long time.
We talked about the trucks. If you, Lake Murray Boulevard and San Andrews Road, the trucks are crossing that curb and about to kill all our flowers there on the corner. It's got to be something to do to deter that.
Harvey already mentioned the spikes.
Well, I don't mean that, but something.
I do.
Steel fence, nice little steel fence, wouldn't that do it?
Some steel post,
Yeah,
little gate,
yeah.
make it look ornate there.
with the spikes built into it. You ought to ever talk to DOT and just ask them if there's something that, because I'm sure they run into that in a lot of places.
Because we'd had a
It
terrible
comes down to
time
the truck
excavating
driving, how
for
good
that
a driver they are.
particular area. I remember that.
Yeah.
Don't.
Well, and the link too, because I've been sitting there when I've seen some and they swing out, but they still can't make it.
And they have a hard time getting around, I know. I will.
So, is all in favor of the approval for the contract for $14,700 to do so with show of hands? And next item is approval to name the town park Memorial Park. Is there a motion for approval?
So move.
And is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion?
I'd ask that we defer it for a little bit. I know that, and I don't want to put words in anybody's mouth, but I know that Ms. Condon is working with someone, and I know that Mr. Walker is working with someone that, and I have talked with someone that would have an interest in having some input financially to the naming of the park. And I'd like to see that pursued just a little bit further. I don't think it's anything that we have to have it named for any particular reason tonight or next week.
And it may not work out. If it doesn't, I like the name.
Yeah, I have nothing against the name Memorial Park. And I think that would be very fitting. It leaves things open to have a memorial park and have different memorials in there. If we wanted it for first responders, that could be an area. If we wanted it for EMS or
Whatever.
you know, whatever. We could have different areas, and I think Memorial kind of opens that up. But I know that you've been negotiating with someone, and I know that you have too. And I've talked with, I know, one of them that some of you have talked with. And well, if it's not a problem, if somebody has a problem with that, then
To get naming rights for the name of the park, I would think they would, I mean, would have to be a major
Yes,
chunk of
sir.
change,
Yes,
maybe
sir.
in the millions, maybe. I mean,
Hundreds of thousands.
no, well,
Millions.
hey, just
Park
pay,
costs us $1 million.
that's a lot of publicity, put your name on the park.
Well, it depends on how much of the name it is. It's not that big.
And I think the length of time too, if you're gonna name it perpetual, then if they're
Well,
gonna do it for a 10-year period and 5-year period or whatever, and then.
Well,
somebody
that's
else
true.
jumps on
So
it, too.
you were negotiating with somebody for that right? I mean, did you put that into their mind? Was that part of their decision to give money or
Yes.
for a picnic shelter or for?
we don't know. But it won't be voted on, I think, for a week to 10 days. We may just get the picnic shelter, but we might get a lot.
Well, the idea would be for first responders, public officials of Irmo, Richland, and Lexington counties who have given their time and talents and service to our community. So
But they're
that's,
not dead yet. Or aren't we gonna make
I
it?
mean, it could be.
they don't have to be dead, but that's,
Well, it's a memorial. They got to be dead. I
well,
like the name. I like it, Paul. I just need a week or two.
The only problem you have, though, if you name it after a certain entity, that you might piss off the other entity that.
Well, that's why we can't do it right now.
You know, that would want to contribute to
Yeah.
an amenity in the park, as opposed to being named the whole park.
Yeah.
In other words, we have a lot more amenities within this park that we can generate revenue from than you do with the whole park.
The amount of the parts may far exceed the whole.
And it may be, and
If it was $1 million, you're right, absolutely.
Well-
If it's anything less, then I don't think it's worth it.
I would
It's
think a
cost us $1 million.
discussion needs to be held then to determine what amount that would be in order to have the name of the park. I mean, it can't be something
Right.
that I'm thinking of, but you give me $200,000, you can put your name on the park. No, I don't think so. I think we need to decide that.
it would be more, well, let's see what they'll give
Okay.
first.
That's what they're wanting to do is
Yeah.
to discuss this and come back with an offer. And I
Yeah.
think then it would be something that we would want to look at.
But I can be bought cheaper than you. And I wouldn't hold out for $1 million. Somebody came back
But the
with,
problem is, though, we have an offer already on the table. and
for
if-
the theater, though, for the
Yeah,
amphitheater.
the amphitheater, and that may, if the park is named after another organization, they may not want to go forward with that offer.
Well, then don't tell them.
Just sneak it in there on.
Just sneak it in
Put
there
the new
after
name
we,
up.
yeah, after we do that. We won't just, let's just hold off for a few weeks. We'll be fine. Is that your legal opinion, Jay?
I think
Don't tell
on
them.
the amphitheater, we're still working on
I like what it sounds, I pulled.
Language.
I mean, I think it's great.
So we got a motion for approval. Do you want to make a motion to defer it
I would make a motion to defer.
until,
What's our next meeting is
6th of August.
August the 6th.
That's enough.
That's enough?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, I have to withdraw my motion then. And I do.
I'll withdraw my second.
Well, I appreciate it. It may not
those
work
have
out.
been withdrawn, so now
I wish it would.
is there a motion to defer?
I make a motion that we defer until the first meeting in August.
And is there a second?
Second.
All in favor of deferring until August 6th, do so with show of hands. And next item is approval of an agreement between Palmetto Health and the town of Irmo for donations and naming rights in the new town park. And I think this really has to do with the
Amphitheater?
Yeah,
Call it amphitheater?
we don't have an agreement yet, so we'll have to defer.
So we're just going to defer it, or you just want to put it on later when it
We're on
comes?
the 6th.
Maybe you need to-
Yeah, the next meeting.
So this will be deferred until,
August 6th.
We'll have language
Which
by
is
then.
what, next Monday? Monday a week.
That's a good deal.
Monday a week.
all in favor of deferring? Well, we have a motion for deferral?
Was this for August 6th?
Yeah,
Uh-huh.
And who seconded it?
well, we got to have a motion. You going to make a motion?
I'll make a motion for it.
Is there a second?
Second.
Okay. So all in favor of deferring that until August 6th, do so show of hands.
Okay.
Next item. Is there a next item? Presentation by citizens. This is the time where anybody wants to speak to Irmo Town Council about anything, whether it's on the agenda or not on the agenda, can do so. All we ask is for your name and address for the record. And it looks like we have one.
Have one. This is a fun thing. Jake Moore, 335 Woodward Point Road, Columbia. This is primarily so I can get it written up in the newspaper, I hope. I had tried to send an Irmo Arbor Day grant, but my computer malfunctioned. That's why you don't have the information electronically. They're fixing the computer, but the Arbor Day golf tournament will be October the 4th this year at Rawls Creek. We started fundraising last week, and at this point in time, we have about $40,000 committed to the tournament, and that's before we really get cranked up and started. So it looks like we're going to have a very successful year again this year. We are probably next year either going to try to put our funds towards the further enhancement of the Irmo and Broad River exits, or put our funds towards Corley Elementary School, or divide them either way. That's basically where we're headed with what we're going to try to do. One of the things that we wind up with every year is a grant from Palmetto Pride for about $4,000. We've made that grant application every year, and I think the funds were available from Palmetto Pride for $4,000, but before we asked for the grant, I pretty much wanted to come before y'all and say, can we apply for that grant? We'd like to have the money. We'll put it either in the school or the intersection or wherever else we stick a tree. But we wanted to talk, I wanted to bring that to your attention. We have an opportunity for a grant, but it needs to officially be from the town. But they give us $4,000 a year to use for the Army. And unless somebody objects, I'd like to be able to work with Bob to make that application.
Is it like the trash people? How many Pride is that?
Palmetto Pride is an organization that was basically established to help fund projects which enhance the beautification of South Carolina. And they are funded every year from the General Assembly, and they look for projects like ours to basically assist. I mean, we're ready-made for Palmetto Pride. They also are, they're kind of like a keep the Midlands beautiful on steroids. They do litter pickup, enhancement projects, and those sorts of things. They think what we've done is neat, and they're ready. But if we could get Bob permission to make the application for the Arbor Day Committee, I think there's $4,000 we should be able to pick up easy. That's okay.
Yeah.
And I want to come here and put it in the Arbor Day account and spend it on trees. That's okay. Then Mr. Brown and I will make the application, and Bob, if you can get with me sometime next day or two, let's get that application.
Okay. And you said you were going to do something interstate. How much after I know we had like, whatever it was, one quadrant, whatever you called it, a couple of years ago that we had trouble on. But is there 2 left out there or 3? Or 2 that need?
What we basically have got, the quadrants are basically done for all practical purposes, but there are areas in the quadrants that need to be beefed up. The areas between Broad River and Lakebury Boulevard on the other side of the interstate need enhancing, and there are portions of the quadrants that have nothing on them. They're basically been left. We spent, I think, $300,000 on each interchange, and then Arbor Day spent about $100,000 on Columbiana. So we've got about $700,000, and Arbor Day put in the oak trees, and Arbor Day put in the oak trees that are in the quadrants. We want to go back and put another row of trees behind the trees that are already there. And then on those banks that are over there, which are not landscaped, we want to landscape those. The truth of the matter is, there's about another $300,000 worth of work out there if you do it better homes and gardens. We're having a debate amongst ourselves as to whether we ought to have about $75,000 to spend this year, I hope. And there's a big debate about whether we should spend the money to turn H.E. Corley Elementary School into something special. It looks good now, by the way. The work has been basically finished out there. If you haven't seen it, you ought to go right by. We're really proud of that. The whole entrance area to Corley Elementary is really, really nice now. That project is $40,000. St. Andrew's Optimist Club is considering making a donation to the school of 4 benches, which they have requested. If they do not make that gift, but I think they will, then I think the Arbor Day Committee will probably belly up on the bar and make that gift for them, or make the gifts to them. But we're debating right now which way to go with those 2 projects. My preference is to make one big splash somewhere, but it's up to the committee, and they can't figure out which way they want to go. But the good news though is that it looks like we're going to have a spectacular year of fundraising. But really the purpose of me getting up here was to have permission to have Bob make the application to Public Prize so we can get the money, put in the bank, plant the trees. And the town looks pretty good, by the way.
Looks good and green.
And blue.
The rain has done, the rain has been cursed by a lot of people, but the rain has caused everything to just beyond anything I've ever seen. Thank you.
Anyone else who would like to address Irmo Town Council? Seeing none, next item is executive session. Is there a need or anything for executive session? None. Next item would be adjournment. Is there a motion for adjournment?
I so move that we adjourn.
And a second.
Second.
And all in favor of adjournment, please say a show of hands. And we are adjourned.